Okay, we're going to take a look at more unit circle stuff. So again, the big thing to do is always have this unit circle handy because we're going to use it a lot. So again, this is just a unit circle. This is how we lay it out, the important pieces to know, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be reading off of it. So again, every one of these radii are ones. Every one of these little white lines are one. The angles we look at are 30, 45, 60, and then 90. And if you actually follow it around, it's the same pattern. 90 to 120 is 30. 45, 60, 90. So it's pretty much the same pattern in every one. And again, I want to show you some patterns that you see in here. Again, the radians, pi over 6, so 6, pi over 4 to 4, pi over 3 to 3, pi over 2 to 2. So it goes 6 to 4 to 3 to 2. And then it goes back up again, 3 to 4 to 6. So again, you're going to be asked to read this. And the thing to remember on this is if you remember our coordinates are x comma y, that means when I look at these numbers out here on the end, it's going to be cosine comma sine. And the reason that is because if you remember from what we did before break, cosine of theta was x over r, sine of theta is y over r. And since I said the radius is 1, every single one of these times, all of these denominators are 1. So cosine theta is x, sine theta is y. And then just we'll come back to it, tangent of theta is going to be y over x. I'll just kind of finish off the circle. So now you're going to just have questions, and the questions are going to all look very similar. It's going to say, for example, the first one says, what is sine of pi over 4? Well, sine tells me, again, I'm looking for a y value because y values are sine. So I'm going to go find pi over 4. I'm going to find the y value of pi over 4. So in this case, there's pi over 4. The y value is root 2 over 2. The answer is the square root of 2 over 2. It asked me to find cosine of 90 degrees. Well, if it asked me 90 degrees, again, cosine is the x value. We're going to look at 90 degrees. We come up. The x value of this point is 0. So cosine of 90 degrees is 0. And we talked about last time when we talk about tangent, tangent is going to be y over x. So we're looking at 2 pi over 3. So we're going to find 2 pi over 3. And it's going to be the y value over the x value. So in this case, my y value is root 3 over 2. My x value is negative 1/2. So it's going to be root 3 over 2, that whole thing divided by negative 1/2. And the way we simplify dividing by fractions is the numerator stays the same. We multiply by the reciprocal of the denominator. So we go ahead and flip that over. It becomes 2 over negative 1. The 2's cancel. And we're left with negative or root 3 over negative 1, or you may see that listed as negative root 3. So that's kind of what we did last time. So today we added secant, cosecant, cotangent. So remember that cosecant has everything to do with sine. And remember, cosecant was 1 over is the inverse of the sine function. So what we said before that sine was y over r, cosecant is r over y. Really, the easiest way to think about cosecant is you take whatever your sine is and you take your inverse. So in this case, I'm going to go look at 180 degrees on sine. So 180 degrees on sine. Right here says I'm looking at the y value. The y value is 0. So I want to do 1 over 0 because my y value there is 0. And anytime you have a 0 in the denominator, your answer is undefined. If the 0 had been in the numerator, your answer is 0. Secant. Secant has to do with cosine. So cosine has to do with x values. So I'm looking at 7 pi over 6. Here is 7 pi over 6. I'm looking at the x value. It's negative root 3 over 2. But what I want to do is, again, secant is going to be 1 over x. So I'm taking whatever the x value is and taking the reciprocal of it. So in this case, it's going to be 2 over negative root 3. Because I take that negative root 3 over 2, and I just take the reciprocal. And then cotangent, same idea. Cotangent is 1 over tangent. Is 1 over tangent. In this case, it's going to be x over y. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to 270, and I'm going to put my x over my y. My x here is 0. My y is negative 1. So I'm going to do 0 over negative 1. So the cotangent of 270 is going to be 0. And that's basically what we did today. So the thing to remember when we go to do this is the big thing to kind of hold is that we now know that if we want to find the cosine, we're going to look at the x value. If we want to look at the sine, we want to look at the y value. If we're going to look at the secant, we're going to look at this x value, but we're going to take the reciprocal of x. Reciprocal of x. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 1 over x. We're going to take the fraction, we're going to flip it over. With the sine, we're going to look at the cosecant. We're going to take the reciprocal of y. So in this case, again, 1 over y. So again, we're going to take whatever that number is in that parentheses for y, and we're going to flip it over. Last one is tangent. Tangent, which where we had to do a little bit of work. We had to do y over x. So we had to take the two fractions, put them over one another, and then kind of cancel out the 2's. And for cotangent, we are literally just going to take the reciprocal of that x over y, but it's still going to be like dividing the fractions. So that's what we did today. I just want more practice on it. Again, the more you practice, the more you get comfortable with it. You see there's only a finite set of numbers to it. So hopefully that helps. Please, again, always use the reflection to ask me questions. And we'll talk next time.